Inflation. It's the silent thief, shrinking your paycheck, raising your grocery bill, and making every purchase sting just a little more. Even though the headlines say it's cooling, for most Americans, life still feels expensive. So today we're asking, can the US actually beat inflation? Or are we just learning to live with it? 1. Where it all began. Inflation didn't appear out of thin air. After the pandemic, the government poured trillions into the economy to prevent collapse. People had cash, but shelves were empty. Supply chains were broken, factories were shut down, and shipping costs went through the roof. Too much money chased too few goods. And by 2022, inflation hit 9%, the highest in 40 years. That's when the Federal Reserve stepped in, determined to cool things down, even if it meant economic pain. 2. The Fed's hard choices. The Fed raised interest rates faster than at any time in modern history. Borrowing became expensive. Mortgages doubled, credit card rates soared, and small businesses suddenly couldn't get loans. But it worked. Inflation fell from over 9% to under 3% by 2025. Still, the side effects linger. Housing affordability collapsed, car payments skyrocketed, and millions feel stuck financially. The medicine worked, but the patient's still recovering. 3. The price problem. Here's what most people don't realize. When inflation slows, prices don't fall. They just stop rising as fast. That $4 gallon of milk? It's not going back to $2. Economists call it price stickiness. Once companies raise prices, they rarely reverse them, especially if consumers keep paying. That's why Washington says inflation's fixed, but families still feel broke. The rate went down, not the cost of living. 4. Wages versus reality. Yes, wages are up, but inflation erased most of those gains. Real wages, what your money actually buys, are almost flat compared to 2020. Workers are earning more dollars, but those dollars don't go as far. Rent, food, and utilities have all jumped 20 to 40% since the pandemic. It's the cruel irony of inflation. You get a raise, and somehow you still feel poorer. 5. The global chain reaction. Inflation isn't just an American problem. Supply chains broke worldwide. Energy markets went crazy after global conflicts, and countries scrambled to secure resources. Now, companies are moving production closer to home. Friendshoring. That makes supply chains safer, but also more expensive. Add higher shipping, oil, and labor costs, and everything costs more to make and to buy. So even if inflation slows in the US, the global cost machine keeps pushing prices higher. 6. The debt dilemma. Fighting inflation isn't free. As the Fed raised rates, the government kept spending. Infrastructure projects, defense, and social programs pushed the national debt past $35 trillion. Here's the catch. Higher rates mean higher interest payments. The US now spends more on debt interest than on the military. The Fed is slamming the brakes, while Congress keeps pressing the gas. Eventually, something has to give. 7. Wall Street versus Main Street. Stocks are soaring again, thanks to tech, AI, and defense companies. But regular Americans don't feel the boom. Wall Street wins when money gets tighter. Main Street loses. Small businesses can't borrow, home buyers can't qualify, and credit card debt just hit a record $1.3 trillion. The system is stable, but fragile. It's not collapsing, just creaking under pressure. 8. The politics of inflation. Politically, inflation is poison. No matter who's in power, voters blame the president when prices rise. Both parties claim to have the cure: tax cuts, price caps, deregulation, or corporate crackdowns. But inflation doesn't care about ideology. It's not red or blue, it's math, and until the numbers change, the anger stays. 9. Technology, the silent weapon. The one factor quietly helping fight inflation? Technology. Automation, AI, and digitization are making businesses more efficient. From warehouse robots to AI-driven logistics, costs are dropping, not because of policy, but productivity. However, it's a double-edged sword. Automation controls prices but replaces people. If workers can't keep up, we could fix inflation by breaking employment. It's progress, but with a price tag. 10. The American consumer. Through it all, one thing keeps the economy alive: spending. Americans are still buying, with credit cards, loans, and buy now, pay later apps. That spending props up growth, but it's risky. When debt outpaces income, the economy becomes a house of cards. Eventually, something will force consumers to pull back, and that's when inflation risks turning into stagnation. 11. The hidden winners and losers. So, who's winning this fight? Winners: big corporations with pricing power, investors in commodities and energy, homeowners who locked in low mortgage rates. Losers: renters, small businesses, and fixed-income families. Anyone whose paycheck can't keep up. Inflation doesn't hit everyone equally. It punishes the unprotected. 12. Can America actually beat inflation? Here's the truth. Inflation never fully goes away. It's like gravity, always there, pulling on everything. The goal isn't to eliminate it, but to keep it predictable. Around 2% is the sweet spot. Low enough to protect purchasing power, high enough to keep growth alive. The US is close to that now, but it's a fragile balance. If rates stay high too long, growth stalls. If the Fed cuts too soon, inflation rebounds. It's a tightrope, and one misstep could send the economy swinging. 13. Lessons from history. Every inflation crisis teaches the same lesson. Discipline matters. In the 1970s, inflation soared because the government waited too long to act. In the 1980s, Paul Volcker crushed it by pushing interest rates to 20%, triggering a brutal recession but saving the dollar. Today's Fed is trying to avoid that level of pain. So far, it's working, slowly, cautiously, and painfully. The difference is that this time, Americans are more in debt and less confident. The next shock, war, energy crisis, or financial panic, could undo years of progress overnight. 14. The road ahead. So what comes next? Most economists believe inflation will keep drifting downward through 2025, but prices will stay high. Some relief may come from falling energy costs and stronger supply chains, but real affordability won't return until wages rise faster than expenses. And that's the real challenge. Not just cooling inflation, but rebuilding prosperity. An economy where you don't just survive the month, but actually save again. Until then, low inflation won't feel like a victory, just a pause between battles. The fight against inflation isn't a sprint. It's a grind. It's fought in policy meetings, on grocery store shelves, and in every paycheck that doesn't stretch as far as it used to. Yes, America has made progress. Prices aren't exploding anymore. The dollar is stable. The economy is standing again. But the cost of that stability has been trust. Trust in leadership, in wages, and in the system itself. Inflation doesn't just measure money, it measures confidence. And that, more than any statistic, is what the US still needs to rebuild. Because fighting inflation isn't about numbers. It's about people trying to live decently in a world that keeps getting more expensive.